Welcome back to another episode of a Candor Gander, where we'll be discussing some of the most interesting questions in all of DFK and all of GameFi. Question of the day: is DFK a game? Short answer is yes. This was a Candor Gander with your host, Sergeant Filthy McNasty. Until next time, Sarge out.
Coming to you from somewhere in San Diego, this is a Candor Gander with your host, Sergeant Filthy McNasty.
Hello, everyone. Let me try and get some of these settings fixed. That's not what we want. This is, I think, better. There we go. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all back today. Let me just do one of these. Can you all hear this one?
Nope.
That's for
No.
no nothing. Oh
We're
boy,
going
here
to
we
believe
go
you right
again.
now.
Anyhow, never fails. We'll figure it out. It's always an adventure here. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. We have a very esteemed panel of extraordinary gentlemen here with us tonight. We have a few guests who are new, a few repeats. Some we have new friends, some old. Let's go ahead and let's introduce some of our new friends. They're oldies but goodies. You've seen them in other streams. Mega, I'll start with you, bud. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Honored to be here. It's been a long time coming, but bullish as all hell, and just ready to have a good time here tonight.
I love it. Your bribe will be coming, and I had to bribe Mega. I said, hey, you keep like not showing up. Like, what am I? How much jewel do you need? I'm just kidding. No, the guy's been so gracious with me. We going back and forth, super awesome, very patient with me because I kept bugging him. I'm and I was telling him, it's like, hey, let me know if I'm bugging you too much. I keep knocking on your door every week. And lo and behold, we were able to make something happen. So thank you very much, Mega. Your all's time is very much appreciated, and I very much appreciate the fact that you're spending it here with me tonight. Brinkley, Mr. Huffenstein, how's it going, bud? How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm enjoying it. I'm here for the enjoyment of the community, and thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, if you don't know, Mr. Huffenstein is a Mythic Squad member who's streaming as well. You had a pretty awesome video you did recently. Very well produced. Super cool. Every time anyone does anything, like there's an impetus in me to try and like, all right, let me keep up with y'all before you guys take over here. No, it's super awesome to have you on. Repping Mythic Squad. Speaking of repping Mythic Squad, we've got Mr. Ogre Broad. How's it going, man?
Is going amazing, and that's actually a bit of an oopsie on my part. That is not Huffenstein over here. Over Wait, go the other way. There you go. That's actually a buddy of mine here locally who I sent the wrong link to. I was trying to give him the public facing link, and I accidentally put it through. So he's like, I don't know what's going on, but fuck it, I'll jump on this stream.
No,
Huffenstein, I'm
that
not sure where he's at. Hopefully, he'll be here soon.
no
But
worries.
what up, Brinkley?
That is super funny. As like Brinkley Huffington, he's going by a different name, whatever. You had me fooled. I love it. You're Huffenstein for tonight. And Ogre's voice is near gone here for very obvious reasons. He's been streaming since 6:30 my time, I think. You've been streaming for a few hours now.
Couple hours, yeah. Did Crystal Kraken, then making monsters with Mosh, and now we're in hour 3. Let's go, baby.
Lordy Lord. Yes. Uh yeah, I love this one. Yeah, they all thought Brinkley was the tough guy I've hired. I'm not making tough guy hire money yet. Maybe one day. You're welcome. You're welcome to hang out with us. So I'll start. I'll ask you. Do you know about DeFi Kingdoms? Maybe ask that
I
question.
do. I do. I want to thank Ogre for inviting me. I'm sorry that he sent me the wrong link, but hey, I'm down for hearing the information, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Hey, no kidding. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's super cool to have you joining us. If Huffenstein does come up though, and we need an extra slot, we may have to switch you out. But until then, you're welcome to hang out with us. I like to say we're a water cooler for the DFK community. So that's super great. Freak. You're an oldie but a goodie. We've not seen you in a minute. How's it going, man? And you're muted. You're muted. There we go.
Yo, thank you for having me back on. It was like right around the fall. That's when I go out into the woods. It was the end of the bear market. I was hibernating. It's all been good. The climbing's been mega. I'm next to mega. Like this is a great night, dude. I'm fucking stoked. Let's
we
go.
we and full disclosure, we've been told that Freak's word of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year is mega. So let's turn
Get the
that
counter
into a
up.
drinking game. Every time he says mega, you take a sip of whatever you're drinking.
Dangerous.
Mega's amazing. Can I just say the irony of the fact the man named Mega is sitting like 12 feet away from the camera and you can only see the top of his head. So, like, Mega not looking so mega. It's pretty awesome, bro. I love it.
It's all right.
I love it. No, I love
Yes.
it. Freak. So no, welcome back. You're I must say you're a Bolon favorite. He's been very clear to say that he thinks your takes are hot or you're hot. I'm not sure how he phrased it, one or the other, but it's all good.
He can see me. I could put down a taco 12-pack with the best of them. So I think it goes a little bit of both ways.
I love it. No, absolutely. Trade room. You're bringing sexy back as always. Whenever you come on, how's it going, man?
Sarge, what up, man? It's
Upset.
going good. It's a Friday. Thanks for having me on. It's been a little bit of time, but it's always good to be in here. Shout out to the Candor. Shout out to Mega. Shout out to the Jewelers. It's always a good time here, so I'm happy to be here.
Hey, no, it's always a great time for sure. Welcome back, Sir Worm. Back-to-back weeks. I know you've made it your New Year's resolution to making the top 100, and the way I figured we got you there is by bringing you back on time and time again.
Every week, I have a nugget one out of 100. Those are good odds. Those are good odds.
How's it going? Welcome back, man. Anything new
It's
in the
been
last
going
week?
great. Did a little boar hunting. Wait to do some more in a little bit, and just been dark summoning over at Honk, and I'm still doing it. I'm still dark summoning now. I'm hooked.
It's a very sexy event. If you all heard or didn't hear, Mr. Crypto Meme himself jumped on the last AMA to give us give everyone a holler and invite everyone to a honk dark summoning events. If you've not caught that, it sounds like that's definitely still going on, Sir Worm. How many heroes have you dumped into the pit of despair?
Uh, 8 so far. Not that many. We're trying to line up my pairs and stuff, but I, I'm good. I'm hoping to get to about like 20 to 30 over in the next 24 hours.
Determined, dedicated. How many rugs will come to find out, but I'm sure amongst all those rugs there will be a gem, and it's gonna be a sexy one at that. You're wearing your Mythic Squad shirt. Yeah, as we all know, those good vibes
Yeah,
all
nuclear
around.
vibes.
And speaking of good vibes, if you've not caught our coffee with Kupo, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Kupo himself, back with us tonight. How's it going, bud?
Hey, Sarge, always glad to be with you on these streams. So thank you for having me once again. Glad to be with some of our old friends that we've loved over the months, and we got some new people here tonight. So we got a lot of fun that we're going to have in store this evening.
Absolutely. No, of course. Always a lot of fun. Let's start with some correction and retractions on my end. We'll start with Karate Combat. Last stream I said, hey, why are they advertising? DFK doesn't seem like a good pairing with Karate Combat. I don't know. What do you guys think? And we talked a bit there. I want to retract that statement. I'm gonna double down and say, you know what? It's a good it's a good move. I'm making the mistake of typecasting a community, right? I'm thinking these MMA blood sport people, there's no way they'd be into RPGs, let alone crypto RPGs. But I must remind people that I was surprised that Pieface is an MMA enjoyer of the sport. Crypto Crow, he's a bigger nerd than I, and I would have not pictured him to be the case. And Mike Tyson, he loves pigeons. I mean, you never know what people are into. It may be the right community for all I know. And if whatever gets eyes on the project, that's great. Let's start with one of these.
Then do the Harlem Shake.
Things were a lot simpler back when Harlem Shake was the thing. Bring back Harlem Shake. I think that deviated the time schism. Things went south after that. Um, Anyhow, DFK, is it a game? Yes, it is. Let's not even discuss that piece. Let's talk about what your favorite piece of DFK the game is. Let's start with you, Trade Room. You were not big on sort of maybe gaming as a whole. Or let me rephrase that. You've dabbled. I think historically you've come to show, hey, you see the charts. Charting's your thing, but you've enjoyed yourself boar hunts. Tell me about your love for boar hunts. Are you coming around on RPGs in general and gaming and crypto gaming as a whole now that you're sort of knee deep here?
Yeah,
And
no,
trade
knee
room,
deep
maybe there we
is
go.
the way to put it. I came in. Oh, yeah, I came in as an investor who never really was a gamer and just kind of wanted to understand it. Looked into RuneScape, looked into some of these other games, and I saw everything in DeFi Kingdoms and including the blockchain end. So now that I've come in and I'm actually playing these boar hunts, I spent 2 years getting a chance to understand what gaming is like. I'm just watching everybody that's actually really good at this. Mega, Sticks Intern. Honestly, for the non-gamers coming in, it's exciting just to watch. And you learn a lot just from watching. So I'm killing these boar hunts. I'm landing a lot of good loot. I went on a 24, non-loot drop streak, and then I got a gore stat, right? So I'm really enjoying my time here, getting better at gaming, ready to talk some smack in PvP when that comes around. But yeah, I've been seduced. I'm loving it.
Oh, seduced. Speaking of people who have seduced, I'm glad we're joined here by some real. I mean, I play the game, Trade Room, you play the game, but we're joined here by some no doubt gamers. In fact, there's so much gamers that Sir Worm and Umfreak made it to the finals of the Mythic Squad tourney. We'll start with you, Sir Worm. Dude, congrats first of all. From
Thank
all
you.
accounts,
Shout out.
it was a trek to get there. Shout out indeed, man. Um, we'll start with this piece for anyone who's maybe watching for the first time and you've stumbled on this. Let's summarize uh DFK the game so far. Would I be correct in sort of describing it as a turn-based RPG? The way it's currently constructed, Sir Worm.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
And what do you love about that?
I'm a old D&D player, so bringing the RPG side of it, and turn-based is probably, with my old age, probably the speed I need to go versus like more first-person shooter or anything like that. I need to slow it down and calculate my steps. So uh, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. The boar hunts were amazing. It was a great time, and uh, I just took Maga's advice and I said I got to get good, and if I want to do anything in this game, so
No, hey, and yeah, you're not just trying to get good. I mean, facts are facts. You are good. You are good. Before
lucky,
I get
well, lucky.
Yeah, before I get to you on Freak, I want to get your take on the finals here, and maybe we can get some trash talk out of you here in a sec. But Mega, you are a gamer as well. You're pretty knee deep as far as sort of the ins and outs. I put you up there with the likes of like Wowie and the Maddies, who are very much sort of analyzing this game at a microscopic level. And yes, you can do that. And you are doing it. What of all this sort of things that have come to fruition thus far? What are you enjoying? What are you liking so far? And you're muted.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we speak to the number 15% very often with the development of this game, and it's already so deep, it's already so intricate. I love turn-based battle. I've played a lot of games in the past. Hearthstone, a little different environment, but I was deep into ranked in Hearthstone. I just love competitive nature games. You know what I mean? And especially like you said, the microscopic analysis of this game and the heroes and how different a common versus a mythic can be. And there's just so many levels to this game. So that's one of the biggest things that I've come to love so far with DefiKingoms. And man, I just can't wait for and Huff joins us. Love it.
The real Huffenstein joins us. We had a Huff impersonator here earlier. You'll have to rewind and catch that. That was hilarity in motion. We played it well, but Huff, now that you're here, welcome. Brief introduction, and I'll walk you through the question we just asked. But before I move on, though, Megan, to address what you were saying, I mean, the 15% that's been sort of just shown and sort of it's a peak. We're sort of seeing the tip of the iceberg here as far as the game goes, and really, I mean, what you're seeing, if you're liking this, I can't imagine with that, with that rest, what the rest of the game's gonna end up looking like. It's gonna be intricate, it's gonna be fun, there's gonna be a little bit of everything for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came in, as a lot of people say, a little bit enticed by the APRs, the money. I came in late 2021, but I stuck around truly because of what the devs have proven to us, the depth at which the game is, and man, these are some kick-ass NFTs. You can't lie. Go look at a Mythic, man. Like, these are some killer cards. If anyone is a trading card collector or anything in the past, I love this stuff. So I'm excited.
No, hey, I'm excited too. Uh, I'm Freak. Trash talk. You've got a competition here coming up, the finals. You're in
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Yep.
Anything you want to say to intimidate Mr. Sir Worm here?
I got mad respect for Sir Worm's game. You're one of the only non-deathers, right?
That is correct. That is
Yeah,
correct.
we are an elite few. So, I mean, the only thing I have to say is, how many weapons did you use? Because I did it with no weapons.
I did it with 2 weapons every round. Well, I did it 2 weapons every round, but then I got a weapon dropped in the 4th round, and I used it in the 6th round.
Oh,
So I had
man.
3 weapons in the last round.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm doing this shit with basic. So that's all I got. We'll look at the
What a
seeding.
king. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we'll look at the seeding. No, but I mean, you want to talk about a king? Look up Winston F11 stuff.
Oh, for real though.
Yeah. The mystery man or woman
Yeah.
herself. We
Right.
don't know.
I am convinced Winston signed up twice. Hedge his bets. That's fine. That's cool. He played it smart. I get it.
Totally. Yeah. It wasn't in the rules. It wasn't in the docs. The docs
Fair.
don't exist. Yeah.
Absolutely, very fair.
No, yeah. Congrats to Sir Worm though. That was a sick performance for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, congrats to you too.
Thanks, man.
I did make a joke during the last AMA during the AMA live chat. As you all may know, Frisky Fox doubled down on his statement. Everyone who made it to the finals, who beat those 6 affixes, you guys are getting 500 jewel. In part because of Mr. Fox himself. And I made a joke in chat, and I said Winston's found a hack as a dev on the team. He's found a way to get paid. All it took was a tournament put together by a third party. Anyhow, with that said, Kupo, I mean, what we've talked at length. I know you're looking forward to crafting. Sort of your big picture thing. I get that crafting's not here yet. The game itself, what are you liking about the game?
I'll be honest, I love the boar hunts. I mean, it's probably going to be almost everybody's pick at this point. Just the fact that we actually have some like gameplay, some mechanics, the work that we've put in for the months to years that we've been playing this game is finally pulling off. We see what needs to be tweaked. We see what we've been doing right. We see what we got to evolve on. And this is only a fraction of the game. We don't even have our skill traits like available. We don't have our subclasses available. We're only working off 4 codexes. So we're going in with the bare minimal. So we're really going through like the guillotine like right now. Like the fact that we're going in with the bare minimal is just kind of just prepping us for what we're actually going to have to do down the road. So that's why I like the boar hunt so much. And the fact that why I think this is like such a great aspect is the fact that we're doing it like raw right now. Like when most MMOs introduce those new hard dungeons, and then like months later or by the next expansion pack, you like look at it, it's like, oh, remember when that dungeon was like so hard to beat and I could just walk through it solo? That's kind of what we're in the deal right now. We're at the start of the actual gameplay, and that's why I'm loving it so much.
And what I will say, we've got some chads as far as boar hunts go here on stream tonight with us. What I will say for anyone watching who's maybe a bit intimidated, I've heard the Doug Hypes of the world say, hey, DFK sounds cool, boar hunt sound interesting. It all looks so complicated, and it can absolutely be complicated. However, if you're like me, I'm a button smasher when it comes to games. I can be the megas and the wowies and the maddies and maybe do some deep dive on these codices and find out what works best maybe and what doesn't work best. But I'll say you can certainly come into the game, and as long as you pick one of these heroes, maybe a priest and a warrior, knight, or archer to start off with, you can find a combo that works for you. Trial and error. There's some RNG involved, and you too can play DFK boar hunts. You don't need to be a DFK expert. You can play DFK boar hunts for at this stage under $20. Ogre, what do you think of that? I mean, the game's too complicated, some say. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's one of the things that I love about it, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of games out there that are basic, but I'm bordering on that boomer stage. I'm kind of up there where Sir Worm's at, where my game's a little more calculated. I enjoy those first-person shooters. I'm not very good at them. If I'm going to win over there, it needs to be a game that like I can bring a squad and we can work together. I could do what I'm good at, maybe technically help the team and be like, all right, you two go that way, we're going to go this way, blah, blah, blah. But that going in and just mashing those buttons and always having that first shot be right square in the forehead, like, nah, that ain't me. I'd much rather a game like this where you can play it at just a basic level if you want to, right? People can go in there, buy a bunch of heroes, send them farming, and if that's all they want to do, they could probably turn a little bit of a profit doing that, not really playing much of a game. But now we're starting to see aspects out to where some of the deeper genetics are coming into play, or at least we're starting to see how they're going to in the future, and we can start to make more calculated choices and be like, all right, well, I see these 5 have come out. We see how they roll on PvE. We extrapolate that, so that's how it's going to go with PvP also, most likely. Now we can start making a little bit more informed decisions because we have a little bit more information. But I'm going to be the one to center. It's not a fucking game. We're beta testing parts of a game, right? It's not there yet. I want to see more, right? I mean, I'm going to be that dissenting voice just because when you're in a room full of people and everybody fucking agrees, someone has to stand up and say, nah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I want to present the opposite view. So I think an amazing game is being built, but we're not there yet. We're beta testing portions of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the whole damn thing. Bullish.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna vehemently disagree and say that beta games are still games. We have a playable game, right? You know, there's these GameFi projects out there who will sell you a token with a promise of gameplay in the future, and that was part of the critique, right? You know, that's part of the critique for DFK is that we were that, but we are that no longer. Huffenstein, welcome. You know, let me give you a proper introduction. Welcome to you, first time, long time, I'm sure. Who are you? Where can people find you? What are you about?
Well, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate the time on the Candor Gander. I've watched you for a long time, and it's just truly a privilege to be sitting down with such great faces here. I really appreciate it. I'm Huffenstein. I am self-proclaimed Web3 gamer. I'm here to instruct y'all on how to play these damn things. I mean, I've played video games, MMORPGs my entire life, from Dungeons and Dragons all the way up to Baldur's Gate 3. And I got too much in here to not release a little bit of it to y'all that don't know how to play these games. So, I mean, I have the strategies that I've been building in my head, in my journals, and everywhere that have been strategic in my plays to make a little bit of coin here in DFK. It really has been advantageous for me. And I'm also a DFK helper advocate. I'm here to teach you DFK helper, to get you all updated, to make things simple, because sometimes things get out of hand. So that's me in a nutshell, really. And I'm just, thank you so much for having me here. Just appreciate it, guys.
No, absolutely. And then Huffenstein, Mega, you know, Trade Room as well. Actually, all of you who have streams, feel free to private chat the link to your YouTube channels, and I'll post them up here because I know I'm pretty sure you guys can't post links the way it's set up. I get it, but sometimes I don't get it. If you're a guest, you should be able to post up links. Maybe this works. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? Yes, no. Did I fix it? Son of a witch. Okay,
Yeah,
Huffenstein. So back to the question. DFK Ogre's wrong. It is a game, and it's a game you can play today. What do you hype on? What do you like about DFK the game?
It's a game. Let's break it down.
All right, so to be clear, I stated clearly I am being contrarian on purpose.
Absolutely,
it's a game. I mean, I played every genre, every console, everything across the board. What got me into this space was that I saw the absolute potential of what this could be. It's a game. Yes, in the beginning I could go and quest and collect resources, everything like that, and that is what tickled me. I'm like, hold on a second. There's a whole market with this. There's a whole ecosystem. There's a balancing. There's potions. And that's just not even the salt snowflakes on top of the iceberg of what it could possibly be. And now what do we have now? 2 years later, what is it going to be in the future? These are the things that I've been really delving onto it. And I mean, perfect example. I brought this up earlier. It's like, let's say Pow World. I mean, I've played too much of this game at this point. I'm not going to lie, but it's in alpha. Just like you said, this beta games are games. This is a game that's in alpha and has over 12 million people on it just playing the game. Even if it's not a good game, it's a game. But guess what? It's fun. Who gives a shit about what everything else involves with it? It's a fun game. and void hunts and PvE and just duels and everything. It's fun. And you can make money off of it. This is a game to where you own the assets. Who else can spout that? I have a good time.
And I'm having a great time too. By the way, I heard, don't quote me on this. I could be factually incorrect, but that's the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I heard Power World was developed on the back of $10,000. I don't know how true that is, but if that's true, my God, I mean, they turned 10K into an empire by all accounts. So no, thank you very much for that, crew. So there you all heard it. Different things, different aspects of the game we all love. Let's get to our next question. All right, cool, beautiful. I'm bringing back these time-loved sort of memes, and I think this time third time's the charm.
There you go.
Bingo. Okay, cool. See, it takes a few times. Anyhow, let's start with you, Sir Worm. Let me ask you this question: did you catch the AMA by any chance?
I caught most of it.
There is some alpha for those of you who maybe didn't have the time to catch or may have missed it. It was one of those things that sort of went by quick. Actually, a few pieces of alpha, and we'll talk through these here. The concept of and Dags, I think you're the one to thank. If you're in chat, shout out to you. And if this wasn't your question, shout out to you anyhow. Offhand slot. The idea, the question was around whether or not you'd be able to dual wield the weapons and how that sort of was gonna maybe work. There was talks about shields, maybe dual wielding, not in the sense, that we've come to know. Maybe dual wielding, you're not gonna have two attacks, be able to maybe switch up weapons if that were the case. Focus for some of your sages, for example, is what they mentioned. But there are more options that are yet to be developed, was sort of my takeaway, which to me, what I'm hearing is the team wants your input. Sir Worm, if you're thinking of offhand items your heroes would carry, something that comes to mind, something that intrigues you, something you'd like to see, anything that comes to mind.
I mean, outside of the normal shield, like once they said they turned down dual, like offhand weapons, like carrying a sword in one and a dagger in another, or something of that nature, then it comes down to your shields and your two-handed weapons, which is not really offhand. And then what they said, they had a focus for the wizard, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not. When you take the weapon, when you take the fact that you're taking the weapon out of the offhand, then it kind of diminishes the whole offhand aspect, other than from a defensive perspective, from my opinion. Then it comes down to, do I want defense or do I want a two-handed weapon? Because I can't attack twice. So unless somehow you can attack, if you can attack with the shield too, like smash them in the face, then then it becomes a weapon, and then I'm all for it. But
I mean,
I can't think of anything else unless it was going to give me additional, like, magical power of some sort. Probably
there it is. It applies bleed, poison, void, darkness. Whatever's in the offhand can apply an effect upon, even if it doesn't apply the overall damage. If it applies an effect, it's worth trading it out for the offense.
Yeah, sometimes. If you could throw something like even like sand, or throw like acid in their face or whatever.
Pocket sand.
Sand, exactly.
Love it.
Do a little wrestling move and attack them that way, then that would be awesome. But we'll see. We will see.
And I do want to open up to everyone, so feel free to jump in as well. I've just posted trade rooms link. You're closing up on 200 subscribers. If you've not hit that yet, you're getting there. Let's get you there. Let's get you there tonight. If you've not subbed to Trade Room, do that tonight. Trade Room, offhand weaponries or offhand anything. Any thoughts, any insights? I know you're not a big time gamer, but I'm sure you're filled with ideas. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Again, someone like me coming in, just watching the gamers play, just even listening to these guys talk. So Worm talking, Ogre talking about some of these aspects of things. You know, for a long time, within 2 years, people were complaining that, hey, we want this release, we want this release. But again, the amount of people who are going to be coming in, 95% of us are not going to be gamers. 90% of us are not going to be gamers. So to be able to develop with the team, as much as I love Yellow Pet Eggs, I listened to the AMA, right? It said, no, we don't care about this right now. We're trying to get some more gaming out, right? I'm okay with that. So, for me, the most interesting thing with some of these hunt releases, again, the topic is this a game? Yes, offhand, whatever hand, I'm gonna keep listening to Sir Worm. I'm gonna keep listening to Mega. I'm gonna keep listening to Huffenstein now that I know that he has some of this background because I'm all ears. But the thing that is important to kind of keep in mind is the combat testing grounds and even this first version of the Void Hunt. Even thinking about DFK Helper, there's gonna start to be a narrative of AI within DefiKingoms, and that's something that people aren't really talking about yet. And some of the automated portions of this ecosystem were something that the sentiment of maybe some players in the team was looked at, maybe in some negative light. But now that we have aspect of the games where yes, I can go in and I can play day to day, awesome. But with some of these tools that we're using, what happens if a little bit of an AI narrative gets attached to DFK now that we have these games out here, now that we have these competition, Mythic Squad doing these tournaments, looking at the network getting more traffic with these tournaments. It was, at least from my end, good to hear from the team that look, we're ignoring other releases, we're getting more development and gameplay out. That was really bullish to see.
You didn't say this, but what I'm hearing is as an item sync, as an offhand weapon, we should take these surplus eggs and be able to launch them at your enemy heroes as another item sync.
Ooh, I like
No,
that.
but you're so right. I mean, you're calling on the fact that yes, it's a game, and we have a plethora of gamers who are really gonna sort of test the limits, test the boundaries of your boar hunts V2, and whatever else brings whatever comes to mind. You have a thought? I'll let you.
Yes,
speak
I'll
away
wrap
here.
this up. I'll wrap this up. There's a lot of conversation about which class is coming out. And from what I got from the AMA, if there's anti-blinding and anti-poison, if a lot of people say thief because of toxic, right? But just to wrap it up, yeah, it's very exciting to see what that next class is, what the gamers think. I think it's between thief and seer. That's just at least my opinion. But if they're talking about the offhand thing, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this?
Let's feel free to interject. Dank Nation, shout out to you. Shout out to Sticks
Quick
and
little
Terrence,
interjection.
Jack,
If
Skiller.
anybody else heard,
Humphrey.
I think he said poison's not coming, right? I think we only
Not-
have to worry about blinding. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Right, but
He snuck it in there too.
In that breath, he did say I maybe I took some notes down here. He did say yes, blinding. We've got anti-blind potions. We've got anti-poison potions. But he did sort of in answer to your question, Trade Room, as to what that next class is. If you don't have a seer, in my opinion, and you're rolling out some of these features, you're sort of maybe making the priest class a bit OP. Thank you very much, Fisher Boy, for the 2 crystal. You're making you're making that priest class a bit OP in nature, and that's great. That's good for the game. But if we're looking at balancing, we need another caster of sorts to be able to cleanse, right? I mean, that's what to me. That's what it boils down to. Huffington, you've got a thought. Let's hear it as you take a sip.
So the next casting class. That's
or next casting
the easy bet right there would be the summoner. I mean, because it goes, in my opinion, of how tiers go with the pure magic users, it's going to be wizard or priest, and then it would be the summoner, which would kind of supplement the mid tier to like attack and cleansing. It really just depends on how you wanted to play out the summoner. I mean, that's kind of a hard one. I'll look a little bit more into the advanced classes when it comes to the replacement with that. And then you got the sage. I mean, the sage is going to be our overall just the head of, until the next class comes out, where the the transcendent class for that comes out. I mean, I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but I think my best bet is summoner.
Tangents. So you're confident.
Well, I talked about it a lot with the squad about like what the next transcendent tier would be after Dread Knight, and wholeheartedly, I believe it would be a Merlin-esque type tier. Somebody who has like the god tier magical user to combat the god tier berserker strength class. There's going to be this trifecta of no one being better than the rest, but being the best in what they do. I mean, that's just how balancing, in my opinion, would work in a game that has the intricacies of what we have experienced. And then beyond that, it's just how you like to play.
Speaking of playing,
it's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Yeah, Frick, it's only a game. Don't get mad. We talked offhand, sort of weapons or offhand slots. We're talking next class of hero. Any thoughts there before I move on to this other topic and sort of get other people to interject as well?
Yeah, I was pretty high on the Berserker and Seer just because they were early codexes that came out.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Seemed kind of like the easy choice, but now I guess like the more logical choice seems Thief. But just because of the battle budget. But it's like what we already have physical DPS and Berserker. I don't think we need more physical DPS. I think Seer is the more interesting choice. I would really like to see Seer come out. But I could see Thief. I don't fully like. I understand like their typical tropes. It's either like high attack speed, lots of hits, which would be for the poisons, or high crit backstabby type things. I guess you could consider that DPS. So then like maybe that could sneak in there. But I think Seer. The more I think about it, I think Seer.
Doubling down on Seer. This is going to be very prophetic of you, or a take that doesn't age well, like most of my takes. Mega, any thoughts on offhand slots / new hero class?
Yeah, as far as offhand goes, I'll let that play out. We'll see where that goes. But the focus is really intriguing to me. As far as class goes, I'd love to see the Seer. I was a big fan of the Wizard as well. I think, having the Priest is sweet, having the sustain, the heals. But really our only main DPS from a range standpoint, unless you're running that Holy Light build with the Priest, you got to go Archer. Huffenstein, you were kind of listing off the tier list for the magic dealers. Don't sleep on the Spellbow, though. Whether that's a hybrid build or a complete mage, that's going to be a kick-ass class.
Don't you get me down this rabbit hole of with spellbows, Omega. I have some of the best selection of spellbows in my wallet, brother. That's a whole nother thing. Like, I mean, we're talking just pure magic. You want to go down the magic DPS road? That's a whole nother channel, my guy.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
We'll get into it.
Paladins,
a lot of people are loving the Archer, so that should be right up that alleyway. But next class, I'd love to see the Seer and Berserker. I think they'll drop 2 on us after the hunt, and kind of give us a big little drop.
And I am posting your YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the Jewelers, you guys are approaching 400 subs. If you've not hit 400 subs yet, pretty close. Feel free to subscribe. Like I said, for Trade Room, let's try and get him over 400. Mom, if you're listening, these Trade Room, Mega, super awesome. Sub to their channels. Um, Kupo, any thoughts on offhand slots or new class here?
Oh, you're giving me plenty of time to build here, so let's see how much information I can slap into this little time frame. So, my prediction for like the next hero that we might actually see on the playing field, I'm probably gonna have to throw my hat also for the Seer, just because they said that just from how everything's like set up, we're not going to see the Wizard, not yet at least, and Magician seem to be the best opportunity. But I'm also going to try to hint Scholar, just because they're saying that they're not. They said that we're not going to see what they're not going to see it coming. So like, I probably would see like the Scholar as like the last picked kid to play the dodgeball game type of situation. So I feel that's why I'm only going to say them. As far as like the offhands go, there's so much more potential to that than just a shield or a dagger or even dual wielding some one-handed axes. You got to think on like the item side also. I played a lot of muds, and we always had like the most bizarre things in our offhand. My primary character was a magician, and one of the best items in the game that we had was a grimoire, which basically enhanced their power. My character was a Lunarian mage, so I basically had like moon powers and stuff, and that basically enhanced that ability. But there was like fire codexes, there was like grimoires for like magicians, so there's potential of things like that. Then there's also like crosses maybe, or like for like a healer types or prayer beads. You can hold on to a bottle of like potion for like a quick use type thing. Like, oh no, my character's about to die. Boop, pop that potion instead of like manually doing it for like a one-time emergency heal type situation. So the introduction of offhands can really bring in a lot more than just extra DPS or how you can get an extra stun off with a shield bash. So, I mean, if they implement the opportunity to use offhand, sort of like your wild card slot, there could be a whole big game changer as far as what goes on the field.
Oh, that is interesting. Ogre, any thoughts on new class or offhand slots here?
Offhand slots, in my mind, you can look at the filters they have out there. They've got glove, and then they think they had shield, right? So in my mind, when they say it's not going to be a weapon, and they even listed shield, they didn't say the glove. But if you can go into equipment, you notice there's a couple things there for second hand, and then they do also have some two-handed weapons like the Legionnaire's spike and the Zerker's sword or axe, and of course the Dread Knight's giant ass sword. As far as the classes, I mean, in my mind, Seer makes so much sense because we've got a blindness hack coming, right? That's the next kind of how am I saying this? Combat engine or combat upgrade. And why would you not, like, if they've already said they're trying to bring up well, that's just the way the team rolls. Like Scholar, Seer, Zerker, and Legionnaire have kind of been trailing, right? Because you can't get all the way up to Transcendent Hero with them. That's the type of thing the team pays attention to. So they're like, okay, I could see them going after that and trying to bring up the Seers, just to bring them in. And maybe you can't blind them because they're already blind, right? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which ways. Now we know that it's not getting Umfreak, I love you, and I love the Seer. The reason I don't think we're getting the Thief right now is because they pushed back blind. I'm sorry, poison.
Poison, yeah.
I think we were supposed to get it, but I think on that one it ran behind because some probably combat mechanic. That's what I was looking for before. Combat mechanic that went sideways maybe, and they want to test a little more or redo part of it. Who knows? But we did hear we're not getting that, and that's why I think the Thief is going to get pushed back. So I'm going to go with Seer and Scholar. I like that too, Kupo. The Scholar.
The Scholar. Freak. Speaking of which, we've got your YouTube channel here. Sept Freak. He's got some hot takes. And Ogre and Hubert, for all of you who say shields are not weapons, talk to Captain America. He might say a thing or two about that.
Before we go to the next one, too, I don't think anybody brought up archers. Quivers could get nasty. Archers are already dirty. If we could get quivers on them, yikes.
Yeah.
My God.
Poison arrow equipment or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sexy. What an item sync, too. Oh, my God.
Right?
See?
You got to use a poison potion every turn to poison the tip of your arrow. And that's like channeling. You use one turn to do that. Next turn, you get like the triple shot with 3 poisoned arrows. What?
Oh.
That is
See, there's
that is
potential.
that is a unanimous hot take there. Frick. Very
Oh, I
sexy.
got so much to research on this one. I got so
Oh
much
my
more
god,
ammunition
no
now.
kidding. Freak, I'm sorry, Huffington, did I ask you the question? I don't remember. I didn't keep track. I just jumped around here.
You did, but I definitely wanted to clear it up because I misunderstood the question. I agree on the seer, just on the aspect that how the codexes have been coming out. We already just have another big damage dealer. We got the warrior. So of course it would kind of balance out with another sub kind of back end, like a second position or a third position hero. So the seer is a natural selection for that. And if you got blindness coming out, yeah, the character that's already blind is going to be the best candidate for that. And the seer as a magic user is going to be, I think, purely just a buff to the heroes, as well as just cleansing them as well. They're not going to really be so much of a damage dealer. I could be wrong. There could be a whole nother tree to doing that, but I do believe that the seer is just going to be like the helper to the berserker. Think about it like that. So the seer's blind, but it can see and tell what the weaknesses of the heroes are, can give you buffs to what your next attack's going to be. So the berserker is going to come in and go and just one shot whatever the fuck you needed to do. I've had that thinking about it for a long time. So to correct on my last conversation about what the class is going to be and the summoner and everything I said, it's the seer is going to be the next class. I truly believe that's what's going to come out, just because how things are balancing out currently.
Oh, well, that's a sexy take. Two things before I move on. One, thank you very much, Two Noobs, for rolling out these updates with your donate live tool. If you don't know, he's integrated DFK chain now. He's also one of the newest members to the castle. And then statement number two, for anyone who uses StreamYard, the comments section button and the end stream button are like right next to each other, which is terribly inconvenient. It might feel like a rug pull. Trade room. Let's start with you, man. We've got I was thinking, I was sitting, I was meditating. I was meditating. I was thinking on this, and I said, you know what? This might be a solid idea. Mellow Green Giant, bro. Thank you very much for the 100 crystal donation. Very much appreciated. Thank you. You are too much. Thank you very much. See, you sort of knocked me off my train of thought here. But I was meditating. That's what I was saying. My train of thought. I was meditating, and I said to myself, you know what this space needs? We've talked about a starter pack as far as heroes, right? Maybe you're new into the game and you don't want to do the research. What do I need to buy? What teams work? I want a basic team of 3. Let's have something like that too. But let's have something packaged where we, for these newbies, we're packaging like this token bundle, this starter pack where you get your 3 heroes, but you get your with the push of 1 transaction. You get entry fee to a boar hunt for you to try and test out maybe as a trial. If you are a long time gamer, you remember those CDs you would get on the in those magazines. Try out the game, take it for a spin, see if you liked it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. What do you think of that? Starter pack for new players. Crazy idea. What do you think?
Already being open.
Man, starter pack for new players. I mean, we've done stuff like the $13 holla, which is come in with as little as $13. Manage that, participate in the game, do duels, do individual tournaments, and we saw that $13 in 3 months can be a very profitable endeavor for you. So with DefiKingoms, it's pretty great, right? You can come in with literally as low as $13 and literally be able to participate in most everything, including questing and all that. But I think really for a starter pack, if you're trying to get in and get a full vibe, $100 can easily get you in to be having at least 100 plus heroes, some boar hunt teams, and then enough, sitting in your inventory to feed the gas for all these different events that you're having to do in the ecosystem. So that's gonna be my simple rendition of a starter pack. Maybe a paladin if you can get them in there, because I like my tankers, to be able to also do some magic, as I've learned from the gamers. But that's my starter pack.
I love it. And for you, Maddie, yes, the soundboard doesn't define me, but
who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
I'm just saying. Sir Worm, last but not least, I don't want to forget you. We've got your channel here in the chat box as well, like the rest. Feel free to sub to Mr. Sir Worm if you've not yet sub. He's he's fun to catch. You've got you've got a big brain when it comes to DFK as a whole, boar hunt strategies. If you're not watching them and you want some alpha, listen, go catch Sir Worm. But starter pack, the idea of a starter pack, I mean, it sounds like, and I know Ogre mentioned, they're working on this already, and I'll pick your brain here in a second. But I mean, the concept itself, does it tickle you? Does it, is it overhyped maybe?
No, I think it's a great idea. Anything to ease entry, which a starter pack could potentially do. Give people 3 heroes, especially I think for a starter pack now, ideally you would give them 3 level 10s. You can do your knight, archer, priest, just so they could do the boar hunt. Because that's probably the most attractive piece of gameplay right now. Then probably summoning is probably a close second. So yeah, I'm all for starter packs and giving away heroes and all that good stuff. I mean, that's why I give away heroes all the time as much as I can. And so yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not sure how the easiest way to roll it out, but I do like the idea.
No, and fair. I mean, it's an interesting way to sort of go about and think about it. It's how we roll it out. There's holiday, and I'm sure there's other creative ways to sort of implement. I won't drag out that question because we may be beating a dead horse with our answers on it. But what I do want to say here, a couple of things. Rempen mentioning the fact that Team Goose is still waiting for someone to summon Dark Summon, that elite class mythic hero, for first prize of the week. We've got some honk and a Gen 1 to give away. I'll try and while we're chatting here, I'll try and send Crypto Meme here a link to sort of give us sort of the scoop of if someone had a question as to what's been summoned today, what's been dark summoned, and maybe what that best dark summoned hero is. Koopa, actually, if I don't mind picking on you, could you send Crypto Meme sort of an invite to give us a quick and dirty on the event, and maybe sort of share with everyone here what's going on, and we can sort of relay that message.
Yep.
So I'll open it up for anyone else that maybe wants to say something on that topic, and then I'll go to you, Ogre. Starter packs. Any other comments there? Mega, you unmuted.
One thing I'll say is we got the likes of KP and the dark market coming, so I think that's going to be a huge two booster packs, starter packs, whatever you want to call them. Setting up a comp. Okay, this is and you can maybe and his is SoFi, if I'm not mistaken, to an extent where you can post comments about it. And he spoke on this before. You can put a team of 3 up and say, this is a triple archer comp. This is how I run it, and attach a YouTube video potentially. Like Huff is doing with his compositions or whatever content you may make, specific boar hunt comps. And just say, this is 1,000 crystal, 2,000 crystal, what is that, $20, $30, hop in the game, beat these boars, and maybe show a replay included in there as well. But I think starter packs is exciting, just for a way to streamline new users in, just because it is an overwhelming, deep game at the surface.
No, and what Ogre is saying is they're working on this. Is that I love the fact that the dark market is sort of an interesting concept to toss them. I think it's a piece we've been waiting for, and I'm sure glad that someone's working on it, developing it, and it'll roll out soon. If you're like me, you sort of dig and you find people who you want to trade with, and maybe it's someone you didn't know or haven't met, and you want to do sort of uh private transactions on the back end, and it takes a minute to sort of develop that confidence here in the space, as you all know. But Ogre, you said this is already being developed. Are you sharing alpha here, or did I miss something the team's already said?
Nope, not the team. Just an idea that I've been contemplating for a while. I have like it's I shouldn't say it's being developed, already being worked on. It's not actually as far along as I made it sound, but no, it's an excellent idea. I've already got a few ways to do it, and it's just finding the simplest way, right? Keep it as simple as possible, but still get people enough in their hands to where they can take a little and turn it into a lot, hopefully, and kind of fall in love with the game. So it
Uh,
comes with, in my mind, it comes paired with education. That's the biggest part. Is you got to get that education out there to teach them what to do with it. You can't just give them 3 heroes and 50 crystal and say, go ham, have fun. Right? Sorry, my voice is breaking over here. I feel like a teenager.
no worries. Hey, Ogre going through puberty yet again. What an awesome treat for you all. I love it. No, but it's very interesting, right? I think the educational piece is great, and I've been rolling out these coffee with Kupo streams. If you've not caught them, catch them. They're awesome. But the idea of sort of condensing the content into 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute interval. I mean, we can have, and Grady's done. He's got his 10-part sort of 7, 8, 10 hour streams of like, here's how you do DFK, and yes, you can do that, but I think someone needs the 5-minute video of how you DFK. And that's a challenge for us all, right? How do you DFK in 5 minutes when there's so much to do? I think you sort of you bait them with something intriguing and interesting, and the rest will follow. Once you sort of get them hooked, they'll want to sort of do their own research and get into they'll see the concept, they'll see the light, they'll be enlightened to sort of do that research on their own without sort of prompting them to. But we need that quick 5 minute sort of short video that says, here's how you DFK 1, 2, 3.
Yep, get them in there,
Hovenstein.
teach them the basics, or get them hooked, like you said, and then teach them enough to where they can be successful. Bring them into the community for extended learning.
Absolutely. Humphrey Hovenstein, anything on that before we move on?
I have something to say. Huff, did you want to go first? You said your name first.
Oh no, yeah, no. I love the idea of having a starter pack just outright. I believe I haven't heard the current AMA, but I think last week's they kind of battled around with the idea, or I heard it around in the community somewhere. But either have a excuse me, a starter team that doesn't have like a tradable value per se, just to kind of get you to do duels, to get you to do the game mechanics, to kind of get you familiar with it, but it doesn't have like a value per se to be able to just trade your starter heroes or anything like that, because that's not the point. The point is you to experience the game without you actually having to put money into it. Or we can go the Orgo route, where if you want to get to experience the game, we can build this team for you, throw it into there. You can do hunts, you can do duels, you can do farming, you can do crafting. You can kind of get a feel for how things are going, and that's brilliant. Because how I started into this community 2 years ago was the most complicated damn thing I've ever had to do in my entire life online. And
oh my God.
I'm appreciative of it because I've learned copious amounts of information since then, and I would not be here if it wasn't for DFK, truly. But holy shit, the road I got here. And to any way to get new people into here to circumvent that entire journey so they can just have fun, then let's do it.
And the time's now. Why is it time now?
Floor heroes are $1. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
If you're gonna reel people in, it's now. Freak. You had thoughts. Let's hear them. Oh, and these bloaters, how sexy are they? Check them out. Freak. Thoughts.
Starter packs are mega. Take a drink.
Ooh, let me take a drink here.
No, but so Ogre, you probably have a little bit of taste of this. Splinterlands, they have a starter pack. My buddy Matt gave me one, and it got me super into the game, and it was great. This game is maybe a little more tough, where it's like you'd love to give them a boar hunt team. You can't just give them like a holy trinity with each hero having 9 agility. I would like to see anybody in here beat a boar hunt with each hero having 9 agility. Not happening. So yeah, no, there needs to be educational. It would be interesting. Like, do you give them like 6 potato fishers and foragers just to go out and like farm, or do you just give them pure crystal, but then they just dump? Who knows? Like, it's a tough call what that starter pack would be, and that would be a really fun, thought process to go through that. And yeah, interesting. But starter packs.
I don't want to discourage anyone else from doing it, right? No, I love it. In my mind, like, there's tiers, right? There's that person who wants to jump in for $5. Cool. You might get 2 heroes, 20 crystal, and an educational video of how to take those 2 and try and make some more. Because you don't have to use them together, right? When you say there's 2 heroes, there's 3 heroes. That's 3 potential summoning pairs, right? You get one off the market as a rental, and you double what you have. So you have a $5 tier, a $20 tier, and then maybe that $100 tier if you want to come straight into fighting PvP, because those heroes are going to be a little more expensive, right?
Get a rare boar hunt team or some shit. That's no, I like where your head's at.
Or you buy a building starter pack for $10 or $20.
Yeah,
and you get some heroes, you summon them down, you build up some crystal, then you go buy the heroes you want.
Love that.
That's
brilliant. And hopefully they watch that, that educate. They take in that education and they come out feeling and not
fatality.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. And I want to have them answered immediately.
So maybe we end on this question. There's the game's developed, and I guess it all depends on how you think about it. Some people say too slow. Some people, for me, sometimes if I reflect and think back, like it all feels like a blur and things are moving sort of quick. It's the days are long and the months are quick. The years are quick. But if you sort of sit back and reflect, and you've seen the way the game's developed, you sort of go back to you go back to Trade Room, a year ago, or Sir Worm or Koopa a year ago, and you could maybe do it all over again. What is something, and we'll start with you, Trade Room. What is something you've learned over the year or two that you wish DFK specifically you could go back and tell yourself, hey, you know what? This has been developed. I am gonna proactively do XYZ because in a year or two, it'll be good. So you're old. You go back in time and you look at your old self. What are you telling Trade Room a year or two ago when it comes to DFK to sort of maybe look into?
Two things. One, we're at what? We just hit our 1,000,000th hero summoned, maybe about a week or so ago, right? And a quarter of them have been thrown in the pit already, right? So there's this narrative of hero inflation that was a big concern, and back and forth in the community about it. But especially in my communications with Sticks Intern, consumptive utility, right, kind of aligns with economic hardening theory that I speak about, is that, okay, well, if there's 1,000,000 heroes, we need to consume X amount of the items that are needed for these heroes to function. And so I had a granular thought that Moksha runes were it's gonna be okay. And when you're going with a dollar cost averaging strategy, you never want to rush or ape into something, especially if you had time. So knowing that my heroes were getting to level 10 and higher, started to gradually stack up some Moksha runes in that 10 cent, 20 cent, 30 cent, but just didn't do it fast enough. And next thing you know, 6 months later, we're dealing with the hero inflation conversation now turning into an items deflation conversation and price action that's to match that. So, that's something that I wish I would have gotten more aggressive on. But in crypto, you learn a lot, especially from going through multiple cycles. Never will I make that mistake again with any item in the game. And so we look at what I would have done better, which would be the motion runes, but then we look forward as to what the next 6-12 months look like and what the basics that you could be doing, which is making sure that you have the proper set of items, not only to maybe offload some, but then to you do the consumptive utility within the game.
And it's I think you're spot on there. I really do. It's we and you've said it before. Catch Trade Room for more of those hot takes on his stream. You stream Saturdays. But I think you're spot on, right? We don't have, we think we have too much of these items, but if you think how big the community is today, we may have the opposite issue. We may not have enough of these items. And if you all maybe caught this, there was Axie Infinity. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it dead? Is it not? Compare Axie Infinity to DFK. In my opinion, DFK is above and beyond 10 times better, 100 times better than Axie. If you didn't catch this, they had an Axie that sold for $250,000 recently. Can you believe that? I mean, are our heroes undervalued? Are they worth $250,000? I don't know. But they're definitely not worth $1. I think big picture NFA. Just a thought. Others, feel free to jump in. I mean, you could go back to your old self. You could tell yourself, hey, you know what? Invest in this one thing. Maybe make this move. What do you regret not? Security.
Security. If you've been here 6 to 12 months, you haven't looked at possibly moving stuff from one wallet to another. You might want to look at that, right? We're getting into the bull run and people are going to start getting shady. They've always been shady. There's always shady people. They're in your emails. They're calling you on the phone already, right? Don't think they're not in crypto. So if you have a wallet and you've been doing stuff other than just playing DefiKingoms and you've been chasing airdrops or doing crazy, clicking on links you see on Twitter, you may already be compromised and you don't even know it. They're just waiting for the bull run to snatch everything you got, right? So think about that. Learn more about, invest in yourself. That's the one thing you need to get. That's what my recommendation is. The one thing you need to get right now. And if I go back 6 months or a year, I'd have done more of it on me, and I continue to every day. Maybe exaggeration, but that's the goal, baby, right? Invest in your own security, learn more about Web3 security so you don't waste all this time. And then 6 months from now, we're crying over you and throwing you some heroes because you got whacked and lost all your shite. Don't be that guy. It's going to happen to somebody. Always does.
God. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Quick shout out Wallet Guard while we're all so active right now.
I've heard nothing but wonders on Wallet Guard. Yeah, just be careful. I think we've all caught well, can't make presumptions, but Grady tweeted out recently he got he clicked on a link and he lost 15K sort of on a blink of an eye, and it happens. It happens to people, and I would love to sit here and think, hey, I'm better and it won't happen to me, but unless we're a bit proactive and sort of a bit more diligent, things happen to the best of us because they can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
On that Grady note, if I could real quick, this is more directed at y'all up here on stage with me that are starting to dox yourselves or have already doxed yourselves and you're going to events and stuff like that. One thing to be very careful of, and so I know some of you out in the community do it in public places. If you're doxing yourself, be very, very careful about what you have on your phone. They're starting to SIM swap a lot of people, as we saw with DFK already. If you're going to conventions a lot, be real, real careful. Those are big hotspots. Get stuff off of your phone or find out how to shut down your phone and secure your phone while you're at those areas, just to make sure you don't get smacked.
Even call your phone provider. There's fraud protections that you can get put on that sometimes aren't put on by default, which is kind of ridiculous. So anything you can do. Sim swapping is really dangerous.
Yeah, but hey, Sarge, I love you. I got to jam off, man. My throat is killing me.
No worries. Hey, thank you very much for gifting the time you did. Very much appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. We can always find you on these Mythic Squad streams. You and Mythic Squad are just rocking it out. So thank you very much for your time and effort there. Have yourself some tea, a whiskey, or something. Rest up. We'll catch you next time.
Mad love, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Huff, you go back a year or two, and you're sort of, giving yourself DFK advice. What do you wish you would have done different that you've not had the opportunity to? And before you answer, let me go back to this real quick. So Cryptomine, he's pooped. I'm sure. Busy day night for all of us, and he's not excluded from all this. But if anyone does hit that elite mythic dark summon after hours, just screenshot it, put it in Goose Chat, and they'll go ahead and validate the win for you and sort of hook you up with the prize there. So just to share there, and I'll put a link to Goose Discord here in a sec. But Huff, what are your thoughts? You go back a year. What do you think? What are you gonna tell yourself? You missed out on this. You should invest on this this item a year ago.
Well, honestly, it should be the equipment. I mean, if you think about it, like the equipment economy is so low right now, and I mean, I got so many of those hats and some of these equipment that I've been holding on to that if I would have just put it up firsthand, like when people are like biting at the bit, because again, you gotta kind of sell the news a little bit. There's a new equipment out there, like those pants, man. Somebody got those pants, and I swear to God, I probably could have put them up and probably bought something real nice with something like that. I mean, it just comes down to finding an opportunity and seeing where it was, because I've missed so many. Educate yourself is where, I mean, 2 years ago, if I would have thought about it, I should have educated myself so much more than just jumping into something that I didn't have as much understanding than I do now. I mean, again, I contribute so much of where I am now to DFK, but I could have done so much better if I just knew what I was getting into before. Like, just like with the Moksha runes, huge shout out to the Moksha runes. I wish I would have stacked them way harder than I did beforehand, because holy cow, did they skyrocket, man. I mean, that is such a huge play, man. And then as well as the equipment too. I mean, yeah, it's speculative as a most, because it really depends on what player you're selling them to. Is it somebody that's serious like I am, that really is just stacking equipment to make sure that my teams are going to be top tier to get those rewards from the daily raffles, from ranking systems, from, let's say, the leaderboards coming out later on? Who just knows? But I need to be the most competitive person to get those rewards, right? So I'm going to be selling to those same individuals. So they're going to pay top dollar. Like, look at all these Diablo, like Immortal, perfect example. People pay tens of thousands of dollars for the best equipment because they're top tier. No other reason. They're not getting anything from Diablo Immortal. They just wanted that smoke, So, like, I'm willing to get rid of a Gore Blade or a Gore Staff or something that of equivalence now, because I know I can get it later on because of my competitive nature. But don't just hold on to your equipment just because you think it's cool. If you want to get ahead, sell it off, because you can recoup that into your teams. Keep going, build better teams. Get that one hero you were looking at a little bit a while ago, because now you have the funds to do it, and now you're so much farther. If I just knew that a year ago, I would be so much farther than I am now. But again, hindsight's 2020. I'll move when I can.
And Mega and Koopa, what we're hearing here is, from everyone to some extent, if we can summarize it, is, be proactive, do your research. When people are going, if people are looking right, look left. You're welcome to sort of answer this piece of like, what would you have wished to have done differently a year ago? But hearing some of these lessons, what do you looking into a crystal ball, what are you going to do today so that Mega and Koopa a year from now aren't sort of regretting not having made the moves you've made?
Yeah, so personally myself, I joined in the game around you did, January of 22. So we were at the peak. We were the most expensive buy-ins as far as the stuff goes. And the stuff that I bought in at that point is worth literally pennies to the dollar right now. what I personally should have done is I had the opportunity. I was like, I could add to the LP, or I can buy that Gen Zero. I took the wrong route. I probably would have bought that Gen Zero because I look back now and I'm like, the Gen Zeros hold their value. I mean, I just lost so much at that point. And then, of course, there was the early gained items when quests first came out, and like milkweeds were like $5, and Shivas were like 10, and tears were like up there in the dollar range. Also, kind of wish I sold those off a little bit sooner, and especially those eggs. Wow! And then when items became, as they are right now, kind of buy them back and stack up now. But with Bring Your Own Potion coming around, I personally see that we're going to probably see a pivot and change as far as these items that are like trailing towards the drain right now. They're going to shoot back up, and we're going to see some changes because once eggs became like hatchable, we started seeing like a move in tiers. And so, of course, when we have more characters now appearing in the over 10 range, the moksas are shooting up. So I feel that we're going to start seeing some changes with these items. But yeah, I probably would have said buy that Gen Zero. Don't even worry about the LP right now.
No, that's fair. I'll never forget this memories ingrained, in my head because my wife likes to throw me on this. I remember hitting, profession quest and finding a blue egg, and I told my wife, "Hey, I just got a $235 blue egg," and she's like,
Right?
"Boy, are you gonna sell it?" No, because this thing's gonna go up. She's always asking how that $235 blue egg is doing. I refuse to answer your question. Mega, what are your thoughts, man? What are you telling future Mega? What would you tell past Mega on this one?
Well, what's so funny about the end of your story there, Sarge, is that I was sitting in the office two years back or so, roughly around the exact timeline you're speaking of, and I hit a gray egg. Gray egg was my first egg, and they were sitting at $200 minimum. And I went over to some of my buddies. I was like, "Yeah, this is NFT. I'm like, it was just questing at that point, but we're playing a game. We're sending these heroes on quests, and I just got another NFT that's worth $200. Looking at Mega in hindsight, of course, is 2020. I didn't sell it. I kept it. I waited for the hatching of eggs, and that's something this time around. We're entering the bull run. Hopefully, around 70 days until the halvening of Bitcoin. So take profits. To myself, to everyone else, let's not round trip our whole bags this time. We did come into DFK specifically on the tail end, and that's really when I got into DeFi specifically. I was into crypto a little bit prior, but not too big. But DeFi this time around, we're entering the bull run. Having survived the bear, we've all accumulated assets in this period. Don't marry every single bag. Sell a little bit. Take profit when this time comes around. But have a good time while you're doing it, and I think we'll all win in that sense if we kind of follow those guidelines, in my opinion.
And I don't remember. Did Sir Worm? Did I ask you this question? What would you tell old Sir Worm and maybe future Sir Worm at this point?
Be more the same of sell because when I got in, it was the end of the bull of 21, and I had I didn't get into DFK until the end of the year, but definitely been a part of a lot of projects that I should have sold and held on way too long, and now they're pennies on the dollar. And also knowing myself, I get a wallet that you'll just ship your coin, ship your jewel, crystal, whatever you want to, when you're actually accumulating, like now, send it over there and don't touch it. If I have access readily accessible, I'm going to end up spending it. So I need to put it in a place where I won't touch it and go like, oh, jewels like $10. I should sell some. Oh, I got the whole bag sitting in a wallet that I haven't touched in like 6 months.
No, and there's this misconception I think some of us hear sometimes when people say, "Hey, take profits." I think what people hear is like, "Hey, I'm gonna use all of you as exit liquidity," and to me, there's a spectrum. Yes, there are those people who are gonna do that, but But for me, it's sort of an opportunity to reinvest. One of the things I saw when Jewel hit recently hit that 80+ cent mark, I saw people who were wanting those Gen Zeros and couldn't afford them. They sold off some of their Jewel bags to pick up said Gen Zeros. And that's sort of a different way to sort of go about it. You're taking some profits, maybe reinvesting it in different ways. You're not exiting the ecosystem. You're maybe holding back, waiting to come back in, or there's a spectrum there, right? I do want to thank the donators for tonight. We've got Chozo, Sticks, Intern Maddie, Mellow, Green Giant, Two Noobs, Fisher Boys. Thank you very much. Kind for your donate. Thank you very much for your kind donations. I don't know what sprung. I'm thinking back to a year or two ago. I'll share this story because this was a funny story to me. I was at 3XP, and we're all hanging out before the doors open. We're hanging out. I'm talking to some stranger. I'd never met. He's an older gentleman. He was a professor somewhere East Coast. He was professor of crypto something or other. I didn't quite catch it, but we were talking, and he's like, "Well, what do you do?" I was like, "Hey, I'm into this game, DefiKingoms. I stream about it. I hang out. I talk to people." And he's like, "Tell me about the game." Well, I was like, "Well, at the time, I was like, well, it's not really a game. It's a decentralized exchange. They're developing a game and blah blah blah." Right? And he goes, "What do you talk about on your streams if you don't have a game to develop?" And I, in my head, I was like, "You son of a bitch! Don't ask me questions I can't answer on the spot, because that's not a fair question." My response to him was, "We sit around, we talk, we banter, we speculate about what the game may end up being. We have a game now, and we're talking about what that game may end up turning into down the road." To that guy who may, or in all likelihood may not be watching, go screw yourself. We'll catch you on next time. This was Sergeant for Trade Room, Sir Worm, Koopa, on Freak, Mega, Huff, Ogre, and myself. Brinkley, let's not forget Brinkley. He will live in infamy. Catch y'all next time.
Toodaloo.